stay off your knees. I hear you spreading your lies like a verbal disease. You're always begging for more. I'm gonna give you everything that brings you pain. I'll tear you down to size and leave you ashamed. Can you feel it coming? I won't let you stand your ground. Go on and sing surrender. I love to hear the sound.
Alright, now that the rain subsided for a few days, let's see if we can get a little bit of work done on this thing and clean it up, because it is filthy. But it's been raining non-stop, and that stuff's gonna happen when it just pours. Today we're gonna fix the tail shaft seal. It's been leaking, and an easy fix, but figured I'd make a video of doing it. I'm gonna also make a little shorter how-to repair video, because there's not very many videos for Fleetwoods up online. I figured I can make a change of that. So let's get started. Now normally I put a 2x4 under the pumpkin, in between the pumpkin and the jack, but in this case I can't fit one in there, so I'm just going to roll with it. But usually I'll jack it up right by the center of the pumpkin, get 2 jack stands under the frame, and then relieve my pressure off my cylinders to be able to move the axle up and down to put some slack in the drive line to be able to pull the drive shaft out. Got jack stands in place. This jack doesn't really like to let down the smoothest, so I think I'm going to cheat a little bit and just use the hydraulics to let the car down, seeing as I got to push the axle up anyways. Now the jack wants to go down. Of course. Take a little bit more pressure off of there. Alright, you got her all jacked up, sitting on jack stands. For those of you with lowriders, do not rely on your hydraulics to lift your car up. It does work, it can work, but it can also fail and crush you in the process. So throw a set of jack stands under there just to be safe. And don't forget to remove your ground. God knows you're working in the car and bump it, and it'll scare the hell out of you. Alright, we got the car jacked up. We got some pressure off the rear end, the ground's taken off for the hydraulics. Throw this bad boy in neutral. It'll make it a lot easier pulling a drive shaft. You'll be able to spin it to be able to get to all the bolts. Let's get to it. Alright, we're going to pull those 4 bolts out there. Like I said, if you put it in neutral, it makes it where you can get to all of them. It makes life a lot easier on you. An 11mm surprisingly fits it really well. I was thinking it was 3/8, which it probably is, but I have an 11mm and it fits it, and I don't feel like digging through my toolbox. So we're going with that. Take all 4 of these out. And then we use a little pry bar to push the drive shaft up in the transmission a little bit further. And then we'll slide the drive shaft right out so we can get to our seal. I usually take 1 bolt all the way out, leave the other one in there. Less of a chance of it getting lost. And you can get that yoke past that. Let's do the next side. Alright, we're all free. Let's see if we can get this thing out of here. There's our culprit in there. That's what we're replacing. And the output shaft seal on the transmission. It's a little bit of a booger to get to. Luckily enough, they left a little hole right there. You can stick a screwdriver in and pop the seal out. It's not too bad of a job. Alright, Alright, should just be able to push this forward with a pry bar. Usually I use a pry bar, not a screwdriver, but let's see if we have some luck this time with just a screwdriver. Oh yeah. Uh-oh, lost a needle bearing. That's not good. But it didn't fall on the ground, so that's always a good thing. And none of them come out of place, so that's even better. That in there, that falling out. Good. Alright. Now, turn your yoke horizontal. Keep the end caps from falling off like it just did. And normally I do mark the position that the drive line's in. I've done this before in this car, so I do have a mark. But you want to try and put it back in the position that it came out. Now we'll just slide it back. Normally you'd have a pan under there, but the car is tilted so far forward, it probably won't leak any. So just give it a little tug back, and it'll pop right out. Should have put a blanket there. That way no sand gets on there. And we're good, it doesn't touch the ground anyways. Alrighty, on to the seal. If it goes that easy, we'll be doing good. Alright, now with the drive shaft out of the way, that's what we're going to replace. The output shaft seal, or tail shaft seal as I call it. What it's doing is leaking transmission fluid when I got the front end of the car up and the back end down low. The reason it keeps getting destroyed is because I need to shorten my drive shaft an inch. Because when I lift the car up with hydraulics, it pushes the drive shaft all the way into that seal and destroys it. Either going to shorten it or maybe just get a whole nother drive shaft with a slip yoke. One of the two need to be done. But for now, this is going to be a temporary fix. This is the hole where you can stick the screwdriver in to be able to get to the seal. It's right behind the transmission mount. Why Cadillac decided to use this 3-foot wide transmission mount, unlike the 3-inch round one they've used for decades, I couldn't tell you. But we'll just put it under there, pop the seal out, and then we'll go to put a new seal in. You can just get your screwdriver right there, right behind that seal, in between the seal and the tail shaft of the transmission. Just tap it with a hammer. They'll usually come right out. Sometimes they'll fold up, but either way, if you can get it to fold up, it'll come out pretty easily. You get a pair of pliers on it, tug on it, it'll come out. But most of the times you can just tap it with a light hammer. Well, we got it out. It was a little bit more of a headache than what it normally is, but did manage to get it all out just with a screwdriver. Just kind of had to tap on it and poke at it, hit it in a few different spots. But it come out. Wasn't the worst one in the world that I've dealt with. We got our new one right here. It's about ready to go in. Before you put it in, get you a little bit of transmission fluid on your hands, rub it around there. That way it lubricates the seal, so you don't have a dry startup, damage the seal. But we'll get to putting it in. This is what I found to be the easiest to use to install the new seal. It's a piece of 2.5-inch Schedule 40. It doesn't matter, galvanized steel, stainless, or whatever. Galvanized probably, or black carbon steel is probably the cheapest. You can get it from any plumbing place. Probably get it from Home Depot, Lowe's, I'd assume. I just had some laying around. But the seal fits damn near perfectly. You can use a punch, something like that. You know, put it in your transmission like that. Tap around it. It'd be a nightmare, but it's possible. I've seen it done. I've done it before, but this is just a lot easier. Just put that in there. Tap it with a hammer. You'll know it fully seats when the tone changes at the hammer, and you kind of sound like a more solid thud. And then when you first start to be able to hit it in there. But that's all we like now. Alright, we got our seal all into position. Best way I found is just put your hammer flat. You don't have a whole lot of room. Just give it a tap. I think that's got it. Stick your finger up there and Make sure it's pressed tight against the transmission. If it's not, we'll tap it again. We're good. Alright. Now all we gotta do is throw the dry shaft back in. We're ready to ride. After checking the fluid, topping off if need be, we'll find out. So I said before I thought it was a 7/16. 7/16 does fit it, but really in all honesty, 11mm fits it way better. You can see the head of the bolt there isn't in the best shape. That's probably because I used a 7/16 on it for most of its life. But I would use an 11mm, way snugger fit, which is always a good thing on a bolt. So, yeah, let it be known, 11mm is the way to go. Alright, installation is the opposite of removal. Just line your splines up, stick the dry shaft in the transmission. Try your best not to damage your new seal. Defeat all the purpose of the work you just did. It usually goes pretty smooth. Give it a little shake so you just slide right in there. Now let's see where my marks are. Is it right there? Alright. Just pull it back into place, get it all centered up. Just like that. Throw your bolts back in it, tighten everything down, and double check and make sure you tighten everything down. Last thing you want is a dry shaft flying out. Don't tighten all your bolts down until you have all your bolts in. That can make for a nightmare trying to line stuff up. Could use a ratchet wrench here, but I don't feel like digging out the toolbox. Can't get a socket in there. And there you have it. And lastly, we'll put it back up in park. That way it'll hold the dry shaft. We'll tighten the two bolts that we can get to, put it back down neutral, rotate the drive shaft 180 degrees, put it back in park, and snug up the other two bolts just to ensure everything's good and tight. Alright, we got the transmission in park. I'll probably click a little bit. There we go. Now it's locked in. We got those two. I'll spin around, get the next two. Alright, you got it rotated again, 180 degrees. Click it back into park. And we're good. Alright, time to put it back down on the ground and drive it. That's all you need to get it done. Just a flathead screwdriver, preferably a long one to get to the transmission crossmember, 11mm wrench, some kind of hammer, doesn't have to be that big, that was a kind of overkill really, and a piece of pipe to make your life a little bit easier. You could use PVC. If you use PVC, I would definitely use a rubber mallet instead of a metal hammer, but that's all it takes. We get everything done, level up the vehicle, start it up, let it get to operating temperature. Check transmission fluid, make sure it's good, because if there's a leak in the seal, good chance you lost some fluid. So before you go driving it, check, make sure everything's at proper levels. I'm not going to run it now because it just picks up on cameras a bunch of noise. I checked it out, had to add a quart, so we're all good. I'm going to do some cruising now. Well, we made it to the end of the day, end of the video. Animals are running all over the neighbor's yard, so that's what we're going to call it. I appreciate you guys watching, tuning in, subscribing, all that. Took off a lot further than what I thought it would, which is a good thing. Hopefully it can grow a lot more from here. Check in next week. I'm going to have a walkthrough of the Cadillac. You know, I've been promising it. It's been coming all in due time. We've just been waiting for better weather, and today we had better weather, so we got some stuff accomplished. Anyways, appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.
What seems to be the problem?
Good shot. Got away free. It lives to die another day.